Okay, so welcome. We're going to call to order the March 22nd Finance Committee meeting. And tonight what we're going to do is vote the line items on the budget for 2024. We have one member participating remotely and everybody else is here, so it's a full board tonight. And I think while we get a couple of documents assembled, we'll start with minutes.
So I sent the minutes for the February 15th meeting. I did not receive any comments that I saw.
No, I would. You sent them early.
Yeah, I did. I tried. They're actually ready the night before, and I forgot to send them.
Good job.
It's blank.
There was
So-
one. I wasn't
No,
there.
no, it's-
It was something that spelled check.
Can you guys see that?
Okay.
Yes,
Yep.
thank you.
We might have to toggle between so that we can see
Okay.
Alex if he's trying to say something.
Oh,
Check to see that he's unmuted.
Department Budget Reviews, Town Accountant.
Yep.
The last the first paragraph, last sentence.
Discussion.
Hold on, let me pull it up.
What's the problem? You're saying there was a spelling error?
No, it's not a spelling error, I just didn't understand. She noted nodding that everything has been level funded except for the 2% salary increase.
Oh, yeah, got it.
That is correct.
She noted nothing, it's supposed to be, she noted, oh, sorry. She noted nothing. Oh, yeah. I don't know.
Hold on. It's opening.
Anything I try to do, Bill's not gonna really work out. I'll just let Melissa figure out what.
Just take that word out, that,
Yeah, she noted
I
that
do that
everything.
all the time. My mind works faster than my hand.
Yeah, all the time. So I go down, town accountant. Is it? Yeah,
Oh, yeah, sorry.
I put noting in twice, both in current tense and past tense.
Okay. So,
No.
No.
It's just what I wrote up about the
not
budget.
you, Ellen.
All right, yep, I got that.
So, I'll make a motion to approve the February 15th minutes with that one minor change.
I'll second.
Okay.
Any other further discussion? No? All in favor?
Abstain, I wasn't there.
Yep, and then
Alex?
we had to do.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Oh,
Yes.
we can, yes. And actually,
Oh.
Melissa's pointing out we need to do roll call because
Because you're on.
We have one person that's.
somebody's
Okay.
remote. So, roll call, we'll start with Alex.
I'm here?
Do you approve the minutes?
Yeah.
Yes. Jim?
Yes.
Bill?
Abstain, wasn't present.
Ruth, yes. Sarah?
Yes.
You could turn on your
Melissa?
mic.
Yes.
So, we're waiting for a couple of documents to be printed, but since we have the budget up on the screen, maybe we can at least just get started.
Sure.
And so, Ellen, would you mind just scrolling to the top?
Thank you.
Thank you. And just to give a little bit of a background, we have met with all the departments at this point in time. We've reviewed everybody's submissions. We've had several meetings and discussions with the town administrator. We voted an amount, recommended amount for an override in order to balance this budget. So all of that work's been done, and what the purpose of this meeting tonight is just to vote on the line items of the budget. So to start, I'm thinking for, in order to keep this moving along, and since we need to do a roll call vote, I wonder if we can do sections at a time, and if anybody has anything in between a section or even more than one section at a time, then we can review and discuss. But the Finance Committee draft column in here contains the averages that we've already reviewed with the salary study and the school budget. Is there anything else to know about what's?
The draft budget is a budget that was discussed by the finance board at their last meeting that occurred before the meeting with Kentucky Regional School. Whoa.
Okay. So to start, I think we can do moderator in conjunction with the selectmen line. Why don't we do both of those? So
How best do you want to do this?
what is the, I'm open to conversation as to the best way to go about this. I mean, do you want me to do one or two sections where I think are reasonable, and then,
Do we just want to go down like moderator, selectmen? If there's a question, we can talk about it.
yes, I was kind of thinking that we could do moderator with selectmen,
Yeah.
because moderator is kind
Sure,
of a
yeah.
non-issue, so moderator and selectmen. I think to get it started, why doesn't somebody make a motion for those two sections, and then we can have conversation
Okay.
before we vote?
Oh, yeah, I'll do that. So I'll make a motion to approve the moderator and selectmen budget request at the 73,800.
To recommend.
Oh.
I think we
Oh,
want
to
to be making a motion to recommend the amount in the Finance Committee draft column of
Yes.
73,000.
Yep,
100.
73,700.
And the 100 in the moderator.
And the 100 in the moderator line. So total 73,800 for those two.
Did you second, Bill?
No,
No, I just, I gasped.
Did we have a second yet?
no,
I second that.
Any discussion?
no.
Uh,
Nothing.
It's level funded from last year, and it gives us a $30,000 reserve fund, which I think is a good number to have. And again, all level funded, so I'm fine with that. Any further discussion? So we'll do a roll call vote. We'll start with Alex? This was
Yeah.
just the selectman and the moderator.
Okay. I'm good with it.
Jim?
I approve.
Yes. Bill?
no,
On the selectman and the moderator line?
correct.
Ruth, do you want to discuss that, or are you just going to vote no?
Yeah, I'm just gonna vote no.
Ruth, yes. Sarah?
Yes.
Melissa?
Yes. So do we want to break out moderator from the selectmen, or is it,
Yeah.
which one is he? The selectman he said no on, right?
Oh, did you say selectman you said no for selectman and not moderator?
No, we grow as a group, right?
Yeah, well, we grouped them, so if it's a no for both.
Yeah.
The next,
So let's just do it in the sections. I don't want to lump anything together.
yeah, let me make sure that Alex has do you have the most,
Or can he see what we sharing the screen with him? We might not be. Alex, can you see the screen where the budget worksheet is on?
No, I can just see all your smiling faces.
Oh, yeah, we're not.
Sorry about that.
No, it's fine.
I'll share it with you.
It's also the budget worksheet that was emailed by Rebecca on
Yeah. I can bring that up.
the
That's an
6th.
issue.
No,
It's up.
we just shared the screen.
Oh, yeah, yep, I see it.
So it is the,
Oh, I'm gonna have to scroll back up.
so the next section would be town administrator.
So I'll make a motion to, how did you want me to list this? Sorry, I'm gonna ask you again.
Recommend.
Recommend.
Recommend, that's the word I'm looking for. So I'll make a motion to recommend, for the finance board, $120,566 for the town administrator budget.
Second.
Any further discussion? That is a level-funded budget with the exception of a 2% salary adjustment. Any further discussion? No? We'll vote on that. Alex?
Yeah, that's good.
Jim?
Agree.
Bill?
Yes.
Ruth, yes. Sarah?
Yes.
Melissa?
Yes.
Good. Town accountant?
I'll make a motion to recommend the
Gotta flip
$111,904.
it. It's two-sided.
Yep, for the town accountant budget.
Yeah, I was like.
So, and when you flip it
I have my own.
up like this.
Yes.
So that is an increase, the salary increase is based on a comprehensive wage and classification study that the town funded, and that we are making recommendations to implement to bring a broad range of our employee salaries to what has been recommended to us as average salaries for the role. That's been an ongoing discussion. The Board of Selectmen voted to fund the study, and now we're trying to put recommendations into practice. So that's what that increase is based on. So you made the motion, and
No one seconded it yet.
I'll second.
Melissa seconded it. Any discussion?
So all the,
The last column has the adjustments included.
right, the darker shaded ones.
Yep.
All the adjustments based on the study and to immediately bring everybody up to the average of communities similar in nature to ours.
Yeah.
Not necessarily. The way that we did it is that we provided a formula, similar kind of like we did for past discussions with the American Rescue Funds and others, where we removed the names and everything from the actual discussion and just focused solely on the positions and where they were rated among the grade that was recommended by the Collins Center. And then what we did is that we took the proposed average and the proposed median that they were recommending where they should be within the salary line. And then what we did is that if we level funded the school in addition to what we had for the capital, because we included the $2.1 million for capital that increased, but we didn't touch the school funding for the PRSD. Essentially, we had $200,000 left over. So we used that in our calculation to reduce those salaries to be reflective of that total figure. And so it was multiplied by the percentage change of what we had available and what the lowest between the average and the median was, which was the median. So it is changed 15% from where they would be from the median, because obviously the median averaged out to be $285,700 in total, and we didn't have that in the budget. We only had the 243, so we just took that and applied it, so the ratio, the way that it works with the formula is it proportionally affected each of the salaries based upon how far they were. So it's not the median and it's not the average, it's getting them closer to the median. So it's still under where the study had said on the median ranges where they should be.
Really? How far under estimate ballpark?
So from the difference would be about $42,635 from the total, to bring everybody up to that median range. Because we included the 2% that was what we were offering the employees, and then we added whatever would be necessary to get them to the median, and then multiplied it by that percentage of what was available. So what we didn't have available of that total of the salaries was the $42,635.
So would you say you're at 95% of the median?
Pretty close.
Are they competitive?
Yes.
Okay.
Based on what we're seeing from the study and you all saw it, the compiled data of all of the comparable communities that they weight us to, then yes, on that data it is.
Well, that's all we can ask for, is that we make it somewhat
Yeah,
competitive.
I mean, I feel like after I've reviewed each one, I feel like they are very competitive. I feel like that.
And I can print that spreadsheet out if you'd like me to, that the Collins wage one, to show you if that would be helpful during this discussion as well.
I'm comfortable with the,
Yeah, no, I don't need it.
I saw the report, I understand what the report said. I think, in my opinion, if we implement findings, we implement findings. I'm not particularly interested in going line by line to say which ones I think are right and which ones are wrong, because that's beyond the scope of my information, which is why we funded a study to do that. So that's my own personal take on that. And I also think that if we're having this conversation one time to make adjustments, then we're done. And rather than, I had sort of thought whether we would implement it over time, but we're not going to have the revenues to catch up. So we're asking for an override this year. And this is the year to adjust it and then move forward and not have these conversations annually. That's my, again, my own personal opinion on that. So that was the town accountant's budget, which has been motioned for a recommendation, and it's been seconded. So does anybody have any further discussion? No? So we will vote that department. Alex?
Yeah, that looks good.
Jim?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Ruth? Yes. Sarah?
Yes.
Melissa?
Yes.
All right. Next is the Board of Assessors.
I'll make the recommendation for 146,000, for the Board of Assessors budget for $146,892.
Right.
Does anybody want to second that?
Anyone?
I'll second that.
So Jim seconded it, and that also takes into consideration a primarily level-funded budget aside from the salary study implementation. Does anybody have further discussion on?
I'm just asking Rebecca one quick question.
Okay.
Yeah, the software and licenses.
And then it switches to 75. So is that just transposition, or did they want to put?
There was also a line item in there for the personal property appraisals that was funded last year, did not need to be used because the mandate for that had changed. So it's in there again, but if it does not need to be used, then we had a conversation in the department meeting regarding that money would be turned back to the general fund if it's not used for personal property appraisals. You're okay?
I'm all set, yes, sorry.
So any further discussion? We'll vote on the Board of Assessors Department. Alex?
Looks good.
Jim?
Approved.
Bill?
Yes.
Ruth? Yes. Sarah?
Yes.
Melissa?
Yes.
And the next department is the Treasurer's Department.
So I'll make a recommendation, make a motion for a recommendation for the Finance Board, $184,402 for the Treasurer Department.
Does anybody want to second that motion?
Just for the treasurer?
Yes.
I second it.
Just approved it, so.
Okay, any discussion?
I guess my only comment is I just look at the percentages and I'm mesmerized by how much we have been underpaying That's the only word you use to describe it. It's,
So should it be the 75?
that's my only comment.
Well, there's been a lot of conversation in the municipal field about recruiting for the industry has become difficult. A lot of employees have retired, and there's not a whole lot of people in the queue.
What is your labor pool?
There's this, and particularly in municipal employment. So that's been putting wage pressures on. And then at the same time, the town budgets, we all know, this is the first year that we are presenting an operational override since 2007, I think we said. And we all know that the education has been a large component of our budget, and we've been struggling with wage increases, and they've been at 2% for some time, and that has caught up, and we're now addressing it, so. So that is the, and again, that is, there's some small amounts to the expenses, which is based on office expenses. But primarily, it's the wage and classification adjustment. So that was recommended by Sarah. There was a motion by Sarah. There was a second by Jim. Is there any other further discussion? We had. Okay, so we'll vote on the Treasurer Department. Alex?
It's good.
Jim?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Ruth, yes. Sarah?
Yes.
Melissa?
Yes.
Town Council?
That's flat, right?
That's
Yeah.
flat.
So I'll make a motion to recommend the town council budget at $65,000.
Second.
And Bill seconded that, and that's a number that is working for you at this point in time?
Yes, for right now, I think it should be fine.
So any further discussion? We will vote the legal counsel. Alex?
Looks good.
Jim?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Ruth, yes. Sarah?
Yes.
And Melissa?
Yes.
Alrighty. Technology?
I'll make a motion to recommend the $130,666
Thank you.
for the technology budget.
Second.
Any further discussion?
And the massive increases due to our migrating to a newer platform, more maintenance, more support, better overall value for our dollar.
Correct, so it's, for the exchange is now cloud-based, so we have a cloud-based fee instead of housing it here physically in the premise. Additionally, we are trying to branch out with our accounting software, and instead of asking for additional staff or support, there's a way for departments to input their bills. And it's only a nominal increase of $3,000, but it will enhance the way that we're able to efficiently process bills, and therefore each department, instead of filling a paper and then submitting it to Ellen to then submit it into the computer, those departments will now have the ability to submit those bills on Vadar specifically. So the increase is due to, again, housing the cloud network and enhancing the uses of the platforms that we already have to allow for everyone to do more of the work, so that that one person who's processing it on their end isn't bombarded and need additional staff support, because it's much cheaper than hiring a new person.
Does it increase the security? Do
For,
we have better security for us?
we currently work with Wayne Security, so we have that, that's an annual fee that we pay to them, and that includes the Bagnell as well.
No, I think he's talking about
Technology
cloud,
security?
cybersecurity.
Oh, yes,
Cybersecurity,
yes,
yeah.
yes, so definitely, so we have Sophos, and we have all of those cybersecurity protections in place, and we received that grant, so we are looking at better ways to enhance that as well.
Because the way things are going today, you can't have enough of it. I mean, they're out there. I'll tell you.
So it's a value-added expenditure.
Yes, 100%. I firmly believe in that for the technology budget, and we have that lifecycle management contract that we have, so everybody got a brand-new computer, which would have been a hefty capital expense if we would have tried to do that internally, and using BSS to help us then implement that. Unfortunately, it doesn't take care of like troubleshooting, so if so-and-so is having an issue with something and they need to call for additional support, we do get charged for that, so that's another reason why there's a little extra. I think I put aside about $2,000 so that there's those troubleshooting errors that if I can't address or somebody else can't address, we can call BSS and they can help us with that. But it's definitely value added 100% because it makes, I'm not a technology expert. I know Denise in the past was very good at that. I'm just not, and it's really important to make sure that everyone has the resources to do their job.
Oh, yeah, if you have the right tools, it makes it a lot easier. How long is the contract for?
36 months.
3 years?
Yep.
And at the end of the 3 years, is it a buyout? Is it a, turnover of equipment and?
It depends on what the equipment is at the end, whether or not like certain equipment needs to be replaced and how it evolves through the process. But from my understanding, it would be that if it's almost like a lease to own kind of thing, it would become our equipment.
Okay.
So that was a motion and a second, and does anyone have any further discussion? So we will vote the technology budget. Alex?
Which one, did we state the amount?
Pardon me?
Did we state the amount?
Yep.
136,660.
Okay, good.
We'll get back to Alex.
Is Alex with us?
Jim?
Oh, sorry,
Oh.
I was on mute. Yeah, it looks good.
Thank you. Jim?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Ruth, yes. Sarah?
Yes.
Melissa?
Yes.
Oh, I'll make a motion, for a recommendation of the town clerk's budget, $140,559. Second, anyone?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? So this takes into account adjustments based on the salary study and also an increase in education expenses and office expenses and supplies, which varies based on the year, based on the number of elections and the work that needs to be done.
And also increase hours in the assistant.
Yep.
Just wanted to say that.
So no further discussion? We'll vote the clerk's budget. Alex?
Looks good.
Jim?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Ruth, yes. Sarah?
Yes.
Melissa?
Yes.
The Department of Development, Planning and Conservation.
I'll make a motion to make a recommendation of the $121,051 for the Economic Development Planning and Conservation budget.
Actually, I noted an error.
Oh.
So the reason that the salary looks larger in that line item is because it's two line items combined, but I didn't remove the second line item. So that
the 21,000.
line, that 21,000 should be removed because we're combining two salaries into one salary because the position has been joined. So that will decrease that line item by the 21,848.
Which is,
But conservation will still fund it through their fees like they normally do?
so it should be down to 99,203.
So that's why we won't, no.
So it should go down to $99,203. Anybody else want to make sure that my math is right?
Huh?
121.
$99,203.
Yeah, I said that, didn't I?
So the budget will only be going up 7%.
What was that amount?
Yeah.
99?
99,203.
Okay, so I'll withdraw my original motion.
All right.
May as well.
You can
May
re-
as well.
You can restate it.
So I will make my motion for a recommendation for the 99,203 for the Economic Development Planning and Conservation budget.
Does anybody want a second?
I'll second that.
Great.
And is there any further discussion?
Just give me that math one more time. I know the final number is 99,203.
So you take the 121,051, and you take out the 21,840.
Oh, the 121, my bad. Okay,
Yeah.
you're dealing with the 121.
Yeah,
You're
I
dealing with the
always-
108.
Yeah, I like the bigger number.
All right.
I got it. Never mind.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Sounds good.
So no further discussion. We'll vote on the Department of Economic Development, Planning, Conservation. Alex?
It's good.
Jim?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Ruth, yes. Sarah?
Yes.
And Melissa?
Yes.
Municipal buildings.
I'll make a motion for a recommendation of 295,851 for our municipal buildings budget.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, just a quick question of reference. Do any of these increases include increase in hours, or are they strictly hourly rate increases?
For the
Or is
salaries?
it a combination?
For which one? For this particular,
Just in general?
for the salaries?
Yeah.
The only one that, takes into consideration hours was a request that was made by the town clerk for the assistant, town clerk. Otherwise, none of them,
All of them are rate-based.
rate-based.
Only one of them is hour, which is not rate, it's hour.
It's both.
It's an
It's
hourly
both.
position, but we increase the hours that they're working.
Hours and the
Still
rate.
part-time,
Got
but
it.
more hours.
Okay, good, cool.
Yeah,
As far as municipal buildings, the one comment that I'm going to say is that I think our buildings look great. I think that the town hall has been remodeled, might be too much of a word. They did move around offices, there's new carpets, there's a new sign, and I have to say that our maintenance is top-notch, and that I feel that Steve is just a personable person every time I see him, but he's always, always working, and it shows, and.
Sorry, I just wanted to, I misspoke. There's another adjustment to hours, and that would be the assistant treasurer collector. So she's currently only working 30 hours a week, and we would really like to increase her hours and her presence within that office to provide additional support. So there's another hourly as well. And specifically with the custodian facility salary, we're also moving and planning to move and create a facilities division underneath the highway department. So we expect that position to do a lot more with the buildings in terms of quotes and work and maintenance planning and long-term planning, in addition to what that particular position already does.
Okay. Any further discussion? Anybody? So we'll vote on municipal buildings. Alex?
Yep.
Jim?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Ruth, yes. Sarah?
Yes.
Melissa?
Yes.
All righty.
Insurance.
Insurance. Wah, 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 is what it is. Do you want?
I'll make a motion. A recommendation for 914,905 for the insurance budget.
Second.
I have a question. The property and casualty insurance went up quite a bit. Is there a reason for that?
Yes, we have, unfortunately, we have 3 professional liability cases, and each of those individually hold a $5,000 deductible in which the town must pay. So with those 3 expecting to continue into the next fiscal year, we had to add about $15,000 on top of the increase that we were already expecting for the increased premium, appraisals, easements, and other coverage.
Have we looked to shop that around at all?
From an insurance perspective, we have not. We've actually been approached by a couple of different insurance companies asking whether or not we'd be willing to do so. And I've stated that we would be willing to look into what else is available and what those rates look like. So we're definitely starting to explore that, but very preliminarily.
Preliminarily.
Early stages.
Yeah.
So, when does the policy run from, date to date? Does it run for
It's fiscal year,
Fiscal year, so we're locked into this one for this fiscal year,
correct.
or maybe not. Okay.
Any further questions or discussion? No. So we'll vote on the insurance category. Alex?
Looks good.
Jim?
Yes.
Bill?
No choice, yes?
Ruth, yes. Sarah?
Yes.
Melissa?
Yes.
All right, so that is general government. So the next section that we'll go to is within public safety, and we will start with the police department.
So I'll make a motion to recommend the $1,737,564 for the total police budget.
A second.
Any further discussion?
90% of this is contractual, right?
Yep.
So it's,
It is contractual, and, you know, the police chief meets with us annually. There's never any kind of surprises, and there's always a conversation of creative initiatives that they're taking, and they really do
an awesome job,
an awesome
all
job.
around. Community service, community involvement.
Yeah.
They're awesome, and, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
There've been creative solutions, there's been great outreach, there's been in collaboration with some of the other towns, there was a mental health counselor, I think, coming in, and that's also work that they're undertaking, so, yeah, but it's contractual, and they're doing a great job, so, yeah. So, no further questions or discussion, we'll do a vote on the police department. Alex?
Yep, sounds
Jim?
good.
Yes.
Bill?
yes.
Ruth, yes. Sarah?
Yes.
Melissa?
Sorry, I had a question.
Yep.
I was just going back to look. I thought they had on their budget, $1,200 for, they said it was a contractual longevity, requirement for long-term employees.
Isn't that on highway and water sewer?
It is a contractual obligation. I'm just trying to figure out whether or not we added it to the expense line, or if we just added it, the salary line, or if we added it to its own line item, because I know a new line item was created, but I know we were trying to put that in under wages. I'm just trying to pull that up.
If I add it in, I agree to his request.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you added
If I add it into your spreadsheet,
it equals
it equals
It
his
does.
request.
So yes, there should be the 1,200 added to the longevity, which is a new contractual item.
So,
734.
Just 12, or is it 12 per?
1,200.
Just 1,200. We don't have many that qualify.
So, should you amend that motion?
Yeah, so I'm gonna amend the motion, and it'll be 1,738,764.
Second.
And we will revote that based on the amendment. Alex?
Looks good.
Jim?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Ruth, yes. Sarah?
Yes.
Melissa?
Yes.
Good job. Thank you, Melissa.
All right.
Do we skip the parking clerk if that's zero / non-existent? We don't need to vote it as zero. Fire department?
I will make a motion for a recommendation of 446,559 for the fire department budget.
Does anybody want to second that?
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
I mean, just to clarify for anyone that's watching, we have 2 full-time firefighters that were funded through a grant, their salaries and benefits, and starting in January, the town will be picking up their salaries and
Right, January 1st.
so that's why there was a spike there.
And so this fiscal year, such an echo, it's weird. This fiscal year, we will, right, the town will pay half.
Half.
Next year, there'll be the other half of that
Right.
coming on. So, any further discussion? We'll vote on the fire department budget. Alex?
Looks good.
Jim?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Ruth, yes. Sarah?
Yes.
Melissa?
Yes.
Building department.
I'll make a motion to recommend the 104,833 for the building department budget.
Does anybody want to second that?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? This is a 2% increase year over year. Expenses have all been in line and pretty straightforward, so. And they bring in considerable fees
Oh.
as well through the permits and what have you. You verifying something, or are you okay?
No, yeah.
There's another transcription error. It should be $6,000 in the building
It should be
expenses.
6, not
Oh,
5.
yeah.
The request was for 5.
Right,
The team budget was for 6.
okay. So it should be 6?
Yeah.
105.
Okay, so I'll make amendment for
Yeah.
the building department budget of 105,833.
Second.
Any further discussion? Yeah, so we'll vote. Alex?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Ruth, yes. Sarah?
Yes.
Melissa?
Yes.
All right, emergency management.
There it is.
Make a motion for the 4,000, recommendation for the 4,463 for the emergency management department.
I'll second.
That expenses is supposed to be 1085 and not 1107?
I'm sorry.
The expense line is supposed to be 1085 and not 1107?
It should be the 1107, you're correct.
So 4485.
4485.
Yep.
So I'll make an amendment to that, the emergency management department budget to the 4,485.
I'll second.
Any discussion? We'll vote emergency management. Alex?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Ruth? Yes. Sarah?
Yes.
Melissa?
Yes.
All righty. That takes care of public safety. Now, we're on the doozy, education.
Can we go to that last?
I prefer not to.
We voted for the amount of the recommendation.
Okay. all
I
right.
don't know that we voted
Okay,
the
go
line.
ahead.
So I'll make a motion for the recommended education budget of $13,266,971.
So, just to clarify, we would need to add the full assessment figure into there. So the full assessment is the one that's next to it, so that's 11,442,246. Then also, just today, I was able to clarify with Essex Technical on theirs, and we are going to see an increase in their assessment. So it was 191,000 last year. So we're looking at about a 6% increase for the upcoming fiscal year. But at the same time, I was able to lock down the numbers with Whittier Technical, and we're losing some students there, and therefore that assessment went down from what we originally assessed it at. So it goes down to $615,000.
Okay, so those two adjustments are reflected in what we're looking at, the
Yep,
200.
it's just the
and the 615.
assessment for the Pentucket base assessment needs to be updated to the 11,442,246.
So do you have a total of 14,516,449
I have
I got
14,516,450.
rounding?
One more time. 14.
14,516,000, she has 450.
Oh, okay. Let's just make it sure. Okay, so I'll make amendment to mine to be the 14,516,450.
Second.
Dollars?
Dollars. No, $14.
It's unfortunate. Any further discussion?
No, I think this has all been covered with the
I-
presentations given by the school department, the school committee. I think we've all heard it. We don't have any choice but to do the override. We have children that need to be educated. We can't interrupt that. Maybe we can figure it a little better next year, but for this year, we've got to support the override, irregardless of what Mr. McDonald says, okay? All right,
Irrespective.
whatever.
And this fully funds them, the school.
With the appropriation, if made at town meeting for the override, in addition to a yes vote on the ballot. Otherwise, that monies will not be available, and the town meeting wouldn't have appropriated the monies to be used.
But we'll still get the bill.
Yes.
Oh, yes. And then we'll have to come back here and slash
Yeah.
the living,
It'll be
you know what,
bad.
out of this.
It will be real bad.
It would be
Yeah, one-
catastrophic
Yes.
in some cases.
And our town could
Yep.
financially,
But this gives them the full funding they need to operate next year.
Yes.
Based on the budget that they passed and recommended. Yep,
Okay?
yep.
Just want to make sure that number's not going to change and go up.
Is there any way we can shut off the air conditioning?
yeah.
It's very cold.
Are we locked into that number? That's maybe the proper question I should ask.
So their assessment is voted on by the school committee. The school committee votes on that just like you vote on your budget. So the only way for that to change is for the school committee to change it. They also have a statutory requirement that they need to provide that assessment X amount of days prior to our town meetings for the towns. So it is unlikely for them to go back on that number until action is taken by the communities. If action is taken by the communities and the override fails in both Merrimack and Groveland, then the school committee will be forced to go back to have a meeting and come up with a new assessment number, which would be lower that those two towns could afford. If, in fact, Merrimack passes their override, Groveland fails their override, and West Newbury does not need an override, then, in fact, Groveland will need to pay the assessment regardless.
Right. Oh, yeah, there's no question in that. I just want to know, that number's locked down number.
That's the number that they most recently presented. I
That's
think
the bill.
it was on
Okay.
March 8th was when they had the updated number based on their presentation.
Full invoice includes taxes, gratuities, fuel surcharges, the whole bit.
That's what they've asked for. So we'll vote on the education budget. Alex?
Looks good.
Jim?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes?
Ruth, yes. Sarah?
Yes.
Melissa?
Yep.
The tree warden, well, now we're moving to the Public Works Department now. So first is the tree warden.
So I'll make a motion to recommend $20,000 for the tree warden budget.
Any discussion?
I didn't even know we had a tree warden anymore.
It
Thank you.
falls-
The selectmen.
So this is a ghost.
Used to be, yeah. We just never changed the title.
But it is money that goes towards
Did anyone
proactive
second that?
tree maintenance. Melissa did. Yeah.
Sorry.
Further discussion?
No,
No?
go ahead.
Why don't we just, if there is no really tree warden, and this is really used somewhere else, why doesn't it get moved in that bucket? So that it's displayed in the way it's used?
I don't know, it falls
Under
under,
the highway?
It's still used for the maintenance of trees.
it falls under Public
It just falls
Works.
under-
Yeah. But we really don't have a tree warden anymore, so if the highway department is doing that
The
tree
highway
warden work.
superintendent is de facto tree warden, and I think that Rebecca will be able to discuss it separately, but I think that the impetus behind leaving it as is it's segregated, and therefore is earmarked for that purpose. I know you could also kind of do that within a line item, but it's there. Is there any other reason to not bring the tree warden under the highway?
We can definitely do that. I think it's more of just the way that the structure has always been outlined in all the spreadsheets that Denise and others have used in the past, but I think we can definitely do that without having.
Well, at one time, it made sense, because there was an actual name associated with the tree warden. So if somebody said, hey, you know, there's a $20,000 line item for a tree warden, who's the name of the tree warden? And we said, well, we don't have a tree warden. And they said, well, where does that $20,000 go? And well, it goes down in this line item over here. Well, why doesn't it display in that line item over there, so that the true nature of that salary is transparent? You know what I mean? I mean, that's just my feeling, but
That makes sense. We can either add it into the salary line item, or you can add it in underneath the, are you asking, excuse me, to clarify, are you asking to put it under, like, the tree warden line item to be under the highway department, or are you asking to add it to the highway superintendent's salary, because the highway superintendent is performing the duties of the tree warden, and that would be something that we would continue moving forward?
Well, next year, it would be a line item called tree cutting expenses
Yeah,
on
you-
the
Tree
highway.
maintenance.
I would never
Next year.
want to add anything, I mean, we
Yeah.
wouldn't add, there's no stipend, there's no money, I mean,
is it an expense, or is it a salary?
it's an expense.
Oh, it's an expense.
It
They hire vendors.
says
Yeah.
it, it
So,
says it,
yeah,
it says it right here. It says expenses, 20,000.
oh,
All right.
my bad. All right. Yeah, but, okay.
Vote on the tree warden. Alex?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Yes.
Ruth, yes. Sarah?
Yes.
Melissa?
Yes.
Okay. Highways is the next department.
There was a transcription error there, too, for the loader. It should be the 37,100, not what's showing as the 20,000.
37,100, but what about the overtime? Is that off too? Because it says 17,937, but in the other one it says 17,503, so which one should it be?
It should be the 17,937.
Okay.
And then the,
How about the sick day buyback?
That went down because they lost an employee.
No, that went down because there was only one employee utilizing the sick buyback, correct?
Right, because there was one that got close, which is why they,
Oh,
so that's why
okay.
they buffered it, and then that person left, so now they reduced it.
That's correct. My apologies.
I know
Where is the
something.
loader? What?
it's under equipment.
Yeah,
It's
It
renamed
has
from
to
front.
be
It's
named
like
from
second one
front.
down under total
It
salaries.
doesn't say loader.
Oh, it doesn't say loader?
No, it's cut off.
Heck chopped off.
Okay.
The description was too big for the column.
Yeah.
so it should be the 76?
Oh, it says front? that would have been
Yeah,
front loader?
front.
Okay, I see.
So is it the 66?
So,
They requested 66. Road machinery expense. And then it got bumped up to 76.
Yes, it should be 76.
And then, when we were looking at it, when we had our last meeting, when I made the motion to increase,
We didn't need to because we had the 21,000.
so we're fine.
Yes,
So nothing changed here.
yes.
What happened? Wow.
Okay. Do we have a number?
So it should be 904, for the total
Yeah.
highway budget should be 914,242.
914,242.
I got 237.
What?
I have 914, 237.
Oh, you got 9.
Because of the buyback. I can put it up to the 3,000.
100, 250.
237. Oh,
Are you getting 915,189?
oh, wait a minute. That's another difference here.
Brings you to, yeah.
You can do
It only comes up to, well, for her, 902,199.
I have the 915,189. Nope. It's the salary that's all messed up.
Ruth, how about the top line?
356.
Is it the 104 or is it the 100?
100, 356.
Is it the 100? Okay.
9719, 37,100, 225, 76, 145, 628, 16, 457. Yeah, I get, oh yeah, 914,252, 242, sorry.
There it is.
Yep,
Took its
we
time
got it.
updating.
Oh,
So
7.
that's what we have. We have 914,
Yep.
242.
I agree.
You agree? So I'll make the amendment for the highway department budget for $914,242.
Second.
They both did, so you can choose. Was it
I
tie?
I can try. I
Um,
can put both.
Any discussion? So we'll vote on the highway department. Alex?
I'm good.
Jim?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Ruth? Yes. Sarah?
Yes.
Melissa? Rubbish collection.
So I'll make a motion for a recommendation of $735,000 for rubbish collection.
Second?
I reluctantly give it a second.
For discussion
We could talk
purposes.
about trash all day, couldn't we?
Good talk about trash.
We could talk about trash all day.
Or we could talk trash all day. It's the same thing.
Do you want to talk about the contract administrator briefly?
Yes, so the contract administrator is also the Board of Health Administrative Assistant, and in former years, we had combined both of this, we had separated both of the salaries, but because it's part of her duties and what her hours are spent on, we figured that the duties should be combined together, so it's evaluated as one position, and then evaluated accordingly in terms of salary compensation.
That makes sense to me. It's really hard to evaluate salaries when they are staggered across, allocated across different departments, so that makes sense to me. Any further discussion? We'll vote on the rubbish. Alex?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Ruth? Yes. Sarah?
Yes.
Melissa?
Okay. Just, what are we doing?
Cemetery.
I'll make a motion to make a recommendation of the cemetery budget at $102,236 for the budget.
Anybody want to second that?
I'll second it.
Thank you.
And for clarification as well, as we discussed, we are looking to bring the cemetery division underneath the highway department, and we're looking to create a cemetery and public grounds division. And that position will not only overlook the cemetery grounds and the cemetery process, but they will also be overlooking all of our public grounds, so all of our parks and recreation areas, and putting a plan in place for maintaining those in the future as well.
So there'd be no cemetery commissioners.
So I have had initial conversations with the cemetery commission, and they are on board. They would like to do some more of a phased approach and understanding how that position would look and how the care for the cemetery would fit into that. So we've had an open meetings, and the commission seems favorable, but they want to do a slower transition. So for the first year, if this would go through, it would be an opportunity for us to take a look at how it all functions, and then if all goes well, then we would move forward with dissolving the cemetery commission and then making that particular position union-oriented within the highway department.
Any further discussion? So we will vote the cemetery budget. Alex?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Ruth? Yes. Sarah?
Yes.
Melissa?
Yes.
Quickly, because when you're online, you're doing this with Excel, what was the total public works? Because that number's changed, right?
Sure has.
The total public works?
Yes.
I have $1,771,478,
Okay.
which is a 6% increase over last year.
Okay. Board of Health?
I'll make a motion to make a recommendation of $112,245 for the total Board of Health budget.
Was there an increase in hours for the health nurse? I can't remember.
There was an initial conversation back in December of 2021 during COVID to increase the hours from 12 to 16, I believe it was.
Yeah,
But this doesn't propose to increase them any further than what they've already been increased to.
okay.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? And this is again primarily results of the study.
Salary.
What are the expenses line? Where's that? What are their expenses? 14%?
So the expense line item increased because from my understandings, and if I recall correctly, the Board of Health agent is allowed to go for certification. And as part of that certification process, she's able to go down to the Cape for like a day-long seminar and get all of her credits for being a registered land sanitarian and other certifications that we require them to have in terms of, looking at restaurants, septic systems, et cetera. And they asked for that increase to accommodate, to pay, or help to reimburse that expense.
We're only paying half of that expense. It's a total of 800, so we only increased it 400.
So it's educational.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's shared with another community,
Um,
right?
no,
No, it was shared with her?
yeah, she's paying the other half.
Okay. So that is, any further discussion, Board of Health? So we'll vote that budget. Alex?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Ruth, yes. Sarah?
Yes.
Melissa?
Yes.
Excellent. Council on Aging.
I'll make a motion to make a recommendation of the Council on Aging budget of $169,522.
Anybody want a second?
I'll second.
And I think the only one thing unresolved in terms of the discussion that we had with that was the part-time van driver. The Council on Aging Director had come before the Finance Board and had made additional budgetary recommendations based upon what he was experiencing from the department. And one of the things is that the original request cut the part-time van driver down to just one. And he was recommending to level fund that and bring that up to the what was funded in FY '23, which is the 21,310. And I don't believe that the board had made a determination on that. At the last meeting, we had discussed, again, the salaries in that format, but not necessarily that expense.
But now that we cut that other 21,000, are you saying that we can add that additional $10,442 without any?
Any repercussions to the bottom line, correct?
Okay.
And that's for a second driver, if needed. If not needed, then it's
Exactly.
turned back, so it gives them flexibility.
Of course, because they only have one driver now, and then they have the substitute van driver, and they're trying to find another driver because the substitute van driver has a full-time job. So I know that there's a desire to make sure that they can have somebody on call with all of
Yeah,
the deliveries
that makes
and other services they offer for the transportation.
So they've always had 2 part-time drivers, and it's just recently we only have 1.
Exactly. They had cut that expense line item, but when the new director came back, he recommended it stay level funded.
Okay, good idea.
And otherwise, this department takes the salary study into account and also brings some salaries that were formerly grant-funded into the department, so that gives the Council on Aging more
The
flex.
assistant director position, right, is now part of the operating
Correct.
budget.
Both that position and the outreach coordinator as
Okay,
well.
That's good.
They both were shared by grants, and so now that is within the operating budget, and it gives the Council on Aging department flexibility with
Yeah.
their grants for services. So it seems like the right time to implement that. So do you have a new number?
Yeah, so I'm going to amend my number to include the additional $10,442 in the line item for the part-time van driver, bringing it up to the $21,310. So the total budget will now be $179,964.
Second.
Second. Okay. Further discussion? We'll vote on the Council on Aging. Alex?
Yes.
Jim?
Should I abstain because I'm old?
No, never.
You should get 2 votes because of that.
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Ruth? Yes. Sarah?
Yes.
Melissa?
Yes.
No, but I was supposed to abstain from a vote, so we're going to have to go back, circle back to that one at the end. I forgot. So make sure I do that.
Yeah.
Veterans,
I will make a motion for recommendation veterans budget of the $39,364,000.
Second.
any discussion? The veterans budget was one of the line items where the state aid had increased. Am I right? And how does that flow through to here?
Yes, and that's calculated based upon, and Ellen, please correct me if I'm wrong, based upon the number of veterans that we assist. And the 35% that we get from the state is in relation to those individuals. So,
think they increase their, or they do their percentage on their mortgage for their, like the cost of living, because some get
more based
food
upon,
benefits and things like that, so I think that's part of their increase, how they figured it out. But our share of that is how many we
based upon how many veterans we service.
Right. And that could vary year to year.
I believe that also takes into consideration the flags for Memorial Day, too. Isn't that a reimbursable expense? No? I forget. Never mind, scratch that. I digress, not important.
So, adopted 24, so oh, I was looking at human services, that was up by 17% and couldn't find it in the veterans budget. I was looking at the line below. So that's veterans. Any other discussion? We'll vote that department. Alex?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Ruth? Yes. Sarah?
Yes.
Melissa?
Yes.
Just a few left. Library.
I'll make a motion for a recommendation of the library budget up to $347,121.
Does anybody want to second that?
I'll second, so we can have a discussion.
Discussion?
Yes. With these new numbers now, are we still in compliance with what we have to spend so that we don't fall out of compliance like we did a few years back?
Yes, we are definitely spending enough for certification, 100%.
That is in the library materials number. And we had that discussion when we, had their,
Yeah. With everything else increasing, I think it has to be increased proportionally to stay. Just want to make sure that all math worked out.
yeah. And then otherwise, again, the salary study comes into play, and that was the main topic of the library's department review with us, was that their main goal for the present time and going forward is to attract and retain talent, and they were very concerned about wages in order to be able to do that. And so that was part of the conversation of the process that we've been going through, getting into the position that we could fund and implement the wage study, so.
Just double check. It's library materials, right? Has to be a certain expenditure of total?
State mandated.
So when I look at the department request, they requested 5,520 based on 301, 307. So that number's still the same based on 347, 121? Is that accurate? Or does that number have to increase?
I don't think that number has to do with their department. I think it has to do with,
I know it's a percentage of something. Is it a percentage of the total
I
spend?
agree. I didn't think it was the total budget. I thought it was based upon but that would make, maybe it doesn't include salaries? I'm not sure. I'll double check on that. I mean,
confirm
I would
that
agree
with Darcy,
100% that we need to make sure that we're in compliance with
Couple of
that.
bucks and we're, up the creek, right? So if it takes a couple of minutes to
I
check,
can
hopefully.
send Darcy a note and see.
19% of the previous year's total budget on library materials.
Yeah.
So 19% of the last year.
It said-
19% of total budget.
No, it says the materials line exceeds 2% because Mass General Law requires libraries budget 19% of the previous year municipal budget to calculate the following year's materials budget. I'm not sure that really helps.
I was saying, if we look at last year's budget,
Yep. They need
So it
to-
might
they
go
need
up
to
next
spend-
year.
They need to spend 19% of their budget on that. So I guess that's the question, are they spending 19%?
that would make sense. It doesn't make sense that it would be based on a recommended number that's kind of a
so if
circular.
it's based on the total budget,
Then no.
Once bit, twice shy, you know what I mean? I
I
just
know.
want to
Then
make
it's
sure
not
that
enough.
Then it's not enough, Bill. You're correct.
it wasn't a fun experience the last time, so.
But it does make sense it would be based on a prior year so that because otherwise you can't get to that number.
Mhm.
Because this year's number has not been,
So you're saying it should be less.
Okay.
we should,
If it's based on last year's, then I have 5,519.90, so round it up to 520. All right.
57,250 is what it should be.
Are you sure?
Yes?
Right,
prior
so
year.
prior year was 292, 210.
Do you use prior year or this?
I get 5,519.90.
Hold on.
no, I used the request for this
We used the
year,
requested.
sorry.
yeah, that doesn't
Okay.
make sense to me.
Please hold, Bill. Please hold. Bill?
That's what happens when you have a room full of accountants.
No, that's what happens when,
Pain in the ass.
that's what happens when you found out you lost your accreditation because you didn't understand what that was. And that was a very painful year.
That was a long time ago.
520.
It was, well, it's within my memory, so it wasn't that long ago.
Bill,
I know
based
that-
on the correction of math, it's all set.
Good,
All right.
that's, I just want to make sure, that's,
There's a lot
Okay.
of columns.
it got ugly when that happened, you know.
There's a lot of columns here.
Any other discussion?
I need a drink.
So we'll vote the library budget. Alex?
But years ago, but I think I'll
Yes.
join you.
Jim?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Ruth, yes. Sarah?
Yes.
Melissa?
Yes.
All right, debt service.
Oh, I hate paying money.
You and me?
Yeah, I voted it. I think you seconded it.
Down 2%.
Yeah, that's all right.
Good news.
So I'll make a motion for the debts, the recommendation for the debt service. for-
Second,
What? I didn't even give the number yet.
I anticipated you saying,
376,340.
second.
Okay.
Any further discussion?
Yeah, how come the administrative fees have gone, like skyrocketed?
There was a dual reason. One was because of the Hilltop Security sent an increase in their fees. And then the second was the work with the disclosure form and the, we had went to go
We've been getting,
refinance.
Bans. We've been getting a couple bans for the, it was equipment, 3 years ago?
For
2 to 3
highway
years
and
ago?
fire.
For that list of equipment, for the town. And then the water department's gone for a few bans. They tend to pay their fee though.
Their share.
And Hilltop increased their annual fee as well.
And it's easy for a percentage to skyrocket when it's based off of $2,000. So, it is a large percentage, and,
Well, and the actuals before was $5,400, so.
yeah,
But the year before that was 18, and then the years before that was nothing. So it's like,
because there wasn't new activity, but I hear you.
we
Every,
anticipate that to go northward.
I would anticipate it to go up, but not substantially as it has. I think it will be small increases every year. That's
Okay.
my prediction. I don't know if you would agree, Ellen.
Yeah, it all depends on if we go for more debt or not. They do charge an annual fee, and they did increase that a little, but it's more activity that we
Yeah.
get their help with. And we did do some work, like Rebecca said, with looking into refinancing before the rates shot up.
okay. Any other questions or discussion? We'll vote the debt service budget. Alex?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Ruth, yes. Sarah?
Yes.
Melissa?
Yes.
Unclassified.
I'll make a motion to make a recommendation of the unclassified and at $894,212.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? I know it is what it is, and this is how the chart of accounts works, but it just has always annoyed me that such a large portion of the budget
Is unclassified.
is unclassified.
Yeah.
And that Essex County retirement contribution is unclassified, because it seems like that should be
Classified.
classified. It does, but anyhow, that is what it is.
I guess if it was classified, we wouldn't know about it.
Well, yeah, I know. Okay.
Any other discussion?
No.
This has gone up by 6% year over year, and Essex County retirement gives us a number, as does Medicare tax. Well, Medicare tax is a number that we've budgeted, but based on,
Wait, the Medicare tax, you said 65% of the wages. So wages had gone up, and we had more employees, so that's why that went up substantially. And the 750 for this year of weights and measures, we're hopeful that with the warrant language that we had crafted, that we will not need to spend that. But just in case, we wanted to make sure that we had the monies there in order to comply with the regulations.
And for the record, that's $750. So, okay, unclassified. Any other discussion? No, we'll vote that department. Alex?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Ruth, yes. Sarah?
Yes.
Melissa?
Yes.
All right.
Other raise and appropriate, nothing.
Can we back up just 1 second?
Yep.
Can you now give me a new grand total of total appropriated operating expense? I know it's going to change from the 21,558,732.
I have 22,816,291.
Okay?
And we don't need to be concerned with the other non-appropriated? Do we? We vote that as well? Other non-appropriated? Okay, okay.
Those are the
Um,
charges that are laid out in the estimated preliminary cherry sheets released by the state.
So I'll make a motion. A motion for the 230,245 for the other non-appropriated expenses.
Second.
Any further discussion? We'll vote the non-appropriated expenses. Alex?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Yes.
Ruth, yes. Sarah?
Yes.
Melissa? I'm so sorry, but can we go back and revote technology so that I can abstain from that?
Yep.
Oh, you're the reason.
So anybody that voted in the affirmative can reopen that, I believe. I shouldn't, because I'm abstaining from it.
So I'll make the motion to revisit the vote for the technology budget.
Second.
Thank you. So the technology budget, we had already a discussion on it, and we all voted unanimously in support of the $130,666. I would like to revote that, where I am going to abstain from that vote because I work for a software company that that the town has a contract with, so I don't want to be part of that vote. So, any further discussion?
No.
So the technology budget, Alex?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Ruth, abstain. Sarah?
Yes.
Melissa?
Yes.
All right, that's it. So that, thank
Brings
you.
us to a new deficit.
Do you want the total number now?
Yeah, absolutely. It's no longer 1,029,829.
Well, I'll give you the grand total expense.
The grand total expense?
Yep.
All right, let me see if my number confirms with yours, but go ahead.
Oh, God, here we
Here
go.
we go with the
Shoot.
face-off.
23,000,000,
Yep,
46,000.
Yep.
536.
perfect, we tie.
Woo!
That's what good accountants do, they tie. So what would be the,
Well, I didn't do that, Bill.
well, you have they have Excel, so it should be like,
I actually did
In
that
real
part
time.
by hand, in case you want to.
I've been doing it by hand. Oh, now that's impressive.
Thank you, thank you.
Debates.
23, 46,536.
So that's what we would need for the, so,
Which is what we
which
accounted
is,
for.
yep.
So our deficit, Bill,
Yes,
is the
yes.
$135,164.
Now what?
Cry.
So now I would say that's a good segue, Jim, that leads us into, we need to just have a discussion about the budget, the information when we create the booklet for the town meeting. Generally, I take last year's booklet, which is something that, based off of the same templates that we've been working with for years, but I think that we'll update that and make some other changes to put the override information into context to make that available. So that will be an ongoing discussion. We'll have to work through that. Our next meeting, so everybody should have the annual town meeting on their calendars, which is
April 24th.
like a month away.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
But I would like us to consider having a meeting before that,
Yeah.
because we've made these changes, they're gonna go out to, the town employees, and if they have questions, concerns, they'll obviously go through Rebecca. From that point, if they want to meet with us, I think we should have a meeting so that they can voice any concerns, questions. So normally it's the third Wednesday, which would be the 19th, but I'm not sure if everyone wants.
The other,
Right.
my apologies. The other thing I completely forgot about is I have a drafted warrant, and we haven't gone through the financial articles. We went through the community preservation articles, but we haven't gone through the financial articles, in which case the board typically makes a favorable or unfavorable recommendation on those items. So I don't know if there's time to do that. Everything's drafted.
Tonight?
Hmm?
Tonight?
Um,
I don't think anyone's opposed to it. I think we were just talking about, we should have a next meeting, not that we were closing a meeting.
We normally vote for those warrants, so when do we need to do that?
So I have the warrant drafted. It's already been reviewed by council once. She sent some recommendations, so I made those changes. I've been trying to work on it and get that established, and get that back to her, for just make sure there's no issues with the language or anything. So, I mean, it can be ready for initial review. I mean, her changes won't change numbers or intent. It might change something simple like a shall or may kind of thing, like, something like that, but not substantial enough to impact the discussion. So whatever the board has available to meet. I know
Could we do in 2 weeks?
I'm
April?
hoping that the Board of Selectmen, we have our next meeting
Monday.
is the 27th. So I know the budget discussion is on there, but I also know we have a pretty packed agenda, so I don't believe we're going to be able to get really into all the warrant articles. So I believe that's going to be on the 10th. And then I want to get the warrant to the clerk the week of the 10th so that we have enough time to post within the required posting date for the meeting on the 24th. So it'll give us like 2 additional days if we can get it done by the end of that week, the April 10th week.
So 2 weeks from today is April 5th. Does that seem
Got to do it.
feasible? I could be available April 5th in 2 weeks.
About how many financial warrants are there?
Well, that's my question.
There's a lot of articles. There's 44 articles. The CPC had 12, so subtract 12, and then, so, I mean, there's probably a good, I want to say maybe 10. They're not, I mean, but they're standard stuff, like, the transfer to free cash, or the transfer to stabilization, and those types of, or the transfer for OPEB to offset the tax rate, or the GMLD, and so there are those standard typical articles that we see. So there's 10 to 15 of them, nothing out of the ordinary, though. I think the only thing that was out of the ordinary in terms of the financial articles was what we discussed in terms of our audit, and the fact that we will be writing off the variance that was found in the online vendor account, and that is going to have to be covered. And that was the only newer financial article that was not something that we had discussed in prior years. But everything else is the standard language.
So if we scheduled a meeting 2 weeks from now, that would be enough time?
Yes.
I can be available.
We need a quorum.
I can. Yeah, so,
I'll see what I can do.
I'm still waiting on a high school schedule. I gotta start checking out the other schools, see if they put it.
So we'll earmark the 5th and confirm that.
Does that work
And
for Alex?
Ask 'em.
Alex, you still there?
Can we drop down that
Oh.
spreadsheet so we can see if Alex is there?
Maybe not.
He might have left.
No, he just said he was here.
Did he?
We lost
No,
Alex.
he's not. He dropped off. No, he said he has to drop off. Yeah, he
So-
said it at 6:30.
oh,
Whoa,
yeah.
getting better looking.
You have to leave? Okay.
Yeah. So I say we earmark the 5th, we'll confirm that, and if the warrant articles, if there's not that many and we know what they are, and we'll have the warrant that we can review in advance, maybe that can take, say, no more than 30 minutes' time, and then we could have some time available for any other general questions,
Yeah.
if you wanted to have some time available for employees or anybody else that
I'm
may
no-
have questions in advance.
So for April 5th?
Yep.
Yeah, that'll be enough time, because I just need to get the warrant posted 14 days prior to the 24th, so as long as I can get it posted on the 11th, which is the day after the Board of Selectmen. So you'll have a chance to review it prior to the Board of Selectmen making their final recommendation, and then I'll get it over to the town clerk for posting the 14 days prior to the 24th.
Does that also give you enough time to enter all the budgets into ClearGov so that they can review them before?
So, based upon the Finance Board's recommendation this evening, my prime priority will be to get all of these numbers into ClearGov and send a message out to all of the departments, letting them know it's been updated. So what we did is that they can't edit those versions, so they have the department requested. So they have the level funded, department requested, then they'll have the Finance Board recommended, and then they'll have the final budget, and they'll be notified that it has been updated. So I'll do that either this evening or tomorrow morning.
Perfect. So it just gives them enough time if they need to come before us. Great.
Any other town administrator informational updates?
No, just that I've been working on the warrant, and I apologize for forgetting that crucial point of getting it before you in a timely manner. And also, I want to publicly thank Melissa for being so due diligent in her work on Excel and catching a few of my errors. As you can imagine, looking from version to version and spreadsheet to spreadsheet, it can get, I don't know how, Bill, you are so fascinated with Excel, because my eyes, I feel, are going cross-eyed. So I appreciate all that you do, and I very much appreciate Melissa taking the time to do that, and wanted to make sure that I publicly acknowledge that.
All a team.
And thank everybody for making the time to get here tonight. I'm really pleased that we had a full board in order to make recommendations, because this is the, I think, biggest task that we do of the year. So this was important to have everybody's input. So anything else? No, we're good?
Can I ask one
Yes.
question? So the header is on the header page, preliminary actual 20, fiscal 2022, is preliminary a mistake? Well, fiscal year ended,
Oh, yeah, it's probably supposed to be in a different column here.
fiscal year ended June 30th, 2022, right?
Should be actual.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that shouldn't be there.
I'm thinking if we're still dealing with preliminary at this time,
Just outdated.
right?
Okay.
Okay.
Everyone's good? Motion to?
I'll make a
adjourn?
motion to adjourn at 6:44 PM.
Second.
All in favor?
Oh, do we have to go?
You don't have to go, you
You
can
can
stay here
stay.
all
Thank you
night.
all.
If you want to stay, you
I'll
can
order you
stay.
a pizza. Get DoorDash to
I
deliver.
needed my time.
When was I dying for the pizza? It was,